Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a story that really captures the imagination. Courage, adventure, mystery. It's all there.
It really is. We're talking about a time, the early 20th century, when the sky itself felt like this brand new, incredibly dangerous place.
Right, a frontier. Definitely not for the faint of heart. And, almost exclusively dominated by men. Very, very few women were involved in aviation back then.
Yeah. The barriers were immense, not just technological, but social, cultural barriers were huge.
And against that backdrop, this one woman emerges, Amelia Earhart. She just seemed different, like she truly belonged up there, in the air.
That's a great way to put it. She wasn't just visiting the sky, it was her element.
So in this deep dive, we want to explore her whole story. Where did that adventurous spirit come from? How did she achieve so much? And of course, the mystery surrounding her disappearance. We'll be drawing on the sources you've looked at.
Sounds good. There's a lot to unpack.
Let's start at the beginning then. She was born in Kansas, 1897. The sources suggest her childhood wasn't exactly typical for a girl at that time.
No, not at all. From what we can tell, she was really quite unconventional. Forget dolls and dresses.
Right.
She was apparently climbing trees, collecting bugs, even building these homemade ramps for sledding, just constantly exploring, pushing limits in her own way.
So that curiosity, that boldness, it was there really early on, long before airplanes were even on her radar, so to speak.
Exactly. A real determination to live life on her own terms, you could say.
And then there's this moment, I think it was at a county fair, she sees an airplane for the first time. And it wasn't anything fancy, right? Described as a small, rickety machine.
Yeah, pretty basic. But something about it just captivated her. It wasn't just metal and wire.
What was it then? What did she see in it?
The sources suggest it was like a symbol, freedom, potential. It resonated with that adventurous spirit she already had. It wasn't about the machine itself, maybe, but what it represented.
Okay, so this rickety plane basically flips a switch inside her. It woke something up.
Yeah, you could say that. A profound realization of a new way to experience the world, maybe.
So the dream is ignited. But making it happen, that was a whole other challenge. Flying lessons were incredibly expensive. Planes were rare.
Oh, incredibly difficult. The financial hurdle alone was huge. She had to work all sorts of jobs just to scrape together the money.
Like what kind of jobs?
Teacher, nurse's aide, apparently even drove a truck for a while. Anything to fund those lessons.
Wow. And it wasn't just the money, was it? There was societal pressure, too.
Huge pressure. People literally laughed at her. She was told constantly, women don't belong in the cockpit. It was a very ingrained belief.
But she just didn't listen.
Seems like it. She listened to her own voice, her own conviction.
Yeah.
And somehow she pushed through.
And it paid off. By her late 20s, she's already making waves. First woman to cross the Atlantic by air.
Yes, although it's interesting, she was actually just a passenger on that first flight. More for publicity than anything.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and apparently she didn't even enjoy it that much. But instead of being satisfied, it just made her more determined.
Okay, so that's where that famous quote comes in. If I can do it as a passenger, I can do it as a pilot.
Exactly. It fueled her ambition. And, she did it. She absolutely did.
And that really launched her, didn't it? The 1930s, she becomes this global icon.
Absolutely. She wasn't just flying. She was breaking records. Speed records, altitude records, distance records, one after another.
She just kept pushing the envelope.
Constantly. It wasn't just about her, though. Each record was like proof that women could do these things, that limits were just suggestions, really.
And she used that platform, right? She wasn't just a pilot hidden away in a cockpit.
Not at all. She wrote books. She gave lectures all over the place. She actively fought for women's place in aviation and really in any field they chose.
So she became more than a pilot. She was a symbol.
Definitely. A symbol of courage, independence, what women could achieve if they just ignored the doubters.
People really admired her, didn't they? Her confidence, her calmness under pressure.
Yeah, the calm determination, even when things got dangerous. And she just kept looking for the next challenge, the next boundary to push. She used her fame, but for a cause bigger than herself.
Which brings us to her biggest challenge, the ultimate ambition, flying around the world.
Right. Something nobody had ever done before in that way. And for her, it wasn't just about fame, though obviously that was part of it. It was about showing what was humanly possible.
So, 1937, she sets off with her navigator, Fred Noonan. This wasn't just a long flight, this was epic.
Absolutely epic. Think about it. Thousands and thousands of miles over continents, jungles, deserts, vast empty oceans.
And the dangers, storms, mechanical failures.
Oh, yeah. Terrible storms. Engines that were, let's face it, pretty basic compared to today. A forced landing could happen anywhere, often in places you really wouldn't want to land. Navigation itself was incredibly difficult over those long ocean stretches.
And yet you read her telegrams back home and they're so cheerful, feeling fine, making good time, spirits high, that kind of thing.
But behind that public face, the sources tell a different story. The strain was immense. They were exhausted.
Yeah.
There were ongoing mechanical issues. The plane wasn't, in perfect shape. And they were facing this vast, unforgiving ocean.
Mistakes were not an option out there.
Absolutely not. Which brings us to July 2nd, 1937. They take off from Papua New Guinea, their destination, Howland Island.
Which is just tiny, right? A speck in the Pacific. Incredibly hard to find.
Incredibly hard. Radio operators on the island were straining to hear her signals, and then they get this final faint message.
What did it say?
Something like, "We are running low on fuel. We are flying at 1,000 feet. Cannot see you." Her voice was apparently calm, but uncertain.
And then?
Silence. Just silence.
The plane never arrived. She and Fred Noonan just vanished.
Vanished. Despite a massive search effort, ships, planes, covering huge areas of the ocean, they found nothing.
No wreckage. No sign at all.
Nothing conclusive. Just questions.
Yeah.
Endless questions that linger even today.
And theories, of course. So many theories over the years.
Oh, dozens. Do they crash and sink immediately? Do they manage to land on some deserted island and maybe survive for a while? Were they captured? We just don't know.
The truth is still out there, somewhere under the waves or lost to time.
Exactly. Hidden beneath the waves and the clouds, as the sources put it.
But maybe the ending isn't the most important part of her story.
That's a really good point. Maybe it's the life she lived, the way she lived it and what she taught us.
Yeah. What are those lessons, do you think? What did Amelia really leave behind?
Well, for one, that the biggest risk sometimes isn't failing. It's just not even trying, not taking that chance.
That's powerful. And courage. She showed it wasn't about not being afraid.
Right. It's about doing it anyway. Flying despite the fear. Pushing forward even when you're uncertain or things aren't perfect.
You don't need all the answers. You don't need everything to be perfect. You just need to start. You just need to take off.
She had that saying, didn't she?
Yeah.
The most effective way to do it is to do it.
Simple but profound, and she lived it.
She absolutely lived it over and over again, right up until the very end. Action over hesitation, daring to try.
And here we are, almost a century later, still talking about her. Her name, her story. It endures. We still look up at the sky and wonder.
And maybe that's the real legacy. It's not the mystery, maybe, but the inspiration. Even in disappearing, she left this light behind.
A light for others, to dream bigger, to try harder, to be braver.
Exactly. To dare. She might have vanished from the sky.
But her courage, that's still here. That will never disappear.
Well said.
So Amelia Earhart's life really is this incredible story of pushing boundaries, chasing dreams, even when the odds seem impossible. And even with that enduring mystery, her impact is undeniable.
Absolutely. A testament to perseverance.
So as you've been listening, maybe think about that for yourself. What are your own personal frontiers? What goals seem maybe a bit too big, a bit scary? What would it mean for you to take Amelia's advice to just take off. Something to think about.